A painting that was once a masterpiece can lose its glory after centuries of exposure to the elements. Its true hues may become obscured by grime and even buildups of salt. But now researchers in Spain are cleaning works of art with unlikely allies, bacteria. Art restorers had been working on 17th century frescoes by Antonio Palomino in the church of Santos Juanes in Valencia. The paint was covered by salt crystals and gelatin glue. So the researchers headed to Italy to learn about a glue-munching bacteria. Then back in Spain, they trained a strain of Pseudomonas bacteria to preferentially nibble salt blooms. They also figured out a new way to apply the bacteria. The scientists trapped the bacteria in a gel. This way, the single-celled cleaning crew can destroy the salt layer with no moisture penetrating the murals. When the gel is cleaned off, the surface is quickly dried, leading to the demise of the bacterial assistants. The researchers presented the results at a seminar in Spain. They're now working on refining the technique so that it can be used with paintings on various surfaces, and thus bring dulled and damaged works of art back to life. Senior citizens don't believe the hype because a new study finds that older folks who accept that seniors' memories get worse do worse on memory tests. The finding was published in the journal Experimental Aging Research. Scientists interested in the effects of stereotype on memory enlisted 103 seniors between 60 and 82 years old to take a memory test. Before the test, some subjects were told that the test checked the effects of age on memory. Researchers call this a threat. It reminds participants of the stereotype. That group was also asked to write down their age after reading the instructions, again homing in on the stereotype. The other group was told that the test controlled for biases. This could make them feel more secure. Researchers also gave participants a stigma consciousness questionnaire to test how strongly they bought into negative stereotypes. The results: participants who got reminded of their age and the old age poor memory stereotype did significantly worse. Those who say they feel stigmatized also performed more poorly. So your memory may function better just by believing that it will, in which case you really will eventually figure out where you left your car keys.
It's tough to pick a familiar face out of a crowd, but focusing on a known voice in a noisy room is easy. And a new study scanned volunteers' brains to look at how we solve the so-called cocktail party problem. The work is in the journal Nature. Researchers recorded the activity of the subjects' cerebral cortexes while playing them sentences spoken by different voices. First, the subjects listened to individual sentences and reported key features of each one.
If you were driving in 1981, your car probably
Then they
got
heard two
lousy
different
miles.
sentences played at the same time,
If you
Dengue
were driving
infection
in
flipped the switch on
1981, your car
140
but
probably
had to
got
listen
lousy
to and
miles.
recall details from only one voice. Each voice drew a particular response from the auditory cortex, and even with an extra sentence playing simultaneously, researchers saw that the cortex responded specifically to the voice that the subject was focusing on. This finding indicates that our brains process sound based not only on the audio input they receive, but also on our listening goals, and it could lead to speech recognition systems that are accurate in crowds, even at a cocktail party.
That's a shout World Cup enthusiasts don't hear too frequently. Soccer's known for low-scoring games, which makes it difficult to find an objective means of measuring the skill of top players. In a given game, a couple might nail a goal or have an assist, but who's the best of the best? This conundrum plagued Luis Amaral as a kid in Portugal. Now a professor of biology and chemical engineering at Northwestern, he used his team's computational skills to find the best. The work is in the journal Public Library of Science 1. Graduate student Josh Weitzman wrote software using data from the 2008 Eurocup website. They mapped the flow of the ball among players, they evaluated the ways the ball can travel, and they were able to rank players based on how many times and ways the ball passed through them to finish a given shot. Their rankings match the opinions of coaches and experts. For example, all agree that Spain's Xavi is a great player. Amaral and his team say this network model could also be used for non-soccer tasks, such as evaluating teammates on a group work project.
No surprise, machines and humans have differing opinions about art. Researchers from the Max Planck Institute and the University of Girona had computers and non-art expert humans place each of 275 paintings into one of 11 artistic periods, for example, Baroque or Surreal. And unlike in chess, people far outshone their silicon competitors. That's according to a study in the journal Computers and Graphics. Computer algorithms judge the art by obvious and quantifiable parameters, such as the way the paint was laid on the canvas or the color composition. But humans classified art based on complex psychological evaluation. We ask questions such as who is in the image and what emotions are being portrayed in the scene. This kind of analysis is crucial for correctly identifying art because even non-expert people were right 2/3 of the time, far better than their computer competitors. And that makes sense. Ultimately, art is about our emotional reaction to a starry night or a girl with a pearl earring, but to a computer, it's all just brushstrokes.
I'm running over the Williamsburg Bridge in New York City. It connects Brooklyn to downtown Manhattan. It's one of my favorite places to run because the views are great. Until you look at all the taxis and trucks spewing exhaust. Always makes me wonder, is all that pollution essentially undoing any health boost I'm getting from the run?
A new study of more than 50,000 Danish adults suggests I might be okay. Of course, being Denmark, more than 2/3 of them regularly rode a bike, and half played sports. As you might expect, both activities lowered the Danes' risk of death during the 17-year study period. But that effect held true even for Danes exercising in the most polluted parts of Copenhagen, suggesting that the short-term heavy intake of pollutants during exercise is just a small proportion of their overall exposure to pollution, and thus does not diminish the benefits of exercise. The results are in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives. Of course, Copenhagen has pretty clean air, even by European standards, so these results might not translate to, say, Beijing. And the researchers still advise exercising in green spaces, parks, and other road-free areas if possible. But hey, I'd have to head all the way to Midtown Manhattan for that.
For accurate weather forecasting and climate analysis, researchers need the best models possible about how the air circulates above the Earth. And a new study is challenging the conventional picture of the planet's air movements. Previous theories pointed to two large circular systems. Air rises at the warm equator and then travels toward either pole where it chills and falls. But the new study posits that there are actually four distinct air masses, two north of the equator and two south. The work appears in the August 21st issue of the journal Science. In this new view, air again rises at the equator, but falls in the subtropics, making the first cell. The second cell consists of air rising in the middle latitudes, about 30 to 60 degrees north and south, and then falling again near the poles. The study says that this second cell of rising air accounts for temperatures, winds, and moisture levels in the mid-latitudes. Water vapor is a major driver of weather events in the tropics. Turns out it may be just as important for weather and climate further north and south.